You know how you always hear everybody talk about how mindset this and mindset that and changing your mindset? So, we're going to have a real conversation about money moves and mindset shifts. Let's talk about it. So today I'm here with Alex, my girl Alex, and we're gonna have some real conversations today just about mindset. I've had several people not really grasp what we mean, and you always hear all these 60-second clips on Instagram about, oh, the reason why you're broke because your mindset messed up. Like, so we want to get down into like what does that mean or how does that affect us and what that looks like. So I'll let her go ahead and announce who she is. But first, make sure you're hitting that like, follow, and subscribe button. I'm just saying.
Yes. Hey, y'all. I'm Alex Davis. I'm a CPA and certified financial planner, and I help women build wealth, holistic wealth through strategic tax planning and just changing their overall relationship, shifting their mindset with money.
Yes. So with that being said, that means I brought the right person for the job. Like we're about to get down to it. And the first thing I really want to talk about is when you're thinking about like, okay, so first of all, let's break down mindset. Mindset, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's literally what your mind is doing, how your mind shapes how you use money. I mean, how you grocery shop, how you approach looking for a job. All of those things are based on your mind. And one of the best examples I can give is like when I was paying off my debt, I did Instacart. So I did Instacart. I've done like some of all the side hustles and gigs. But and when I started doing Instacart, I learned how differently people grocery shop and just the different items that different people have. And so, you know, your mindset is what you buy is what you're supposed to get for your house. But when I would go and grocery shop for other people, I would find out about products that I never knew existed in the same grocery store that I did my grocery shopping. And I'm like, oh, they sell this? Like, I didn't even know that it existed. So that was something that I felt that's a mindset shift. Like that's something that opened my mind to new products. And I eat Havarti cheese to this day because I used to do Instacart. I didn't even know Havarti cheese existed, like full transparency. I didn't know what Havarti cheese was. I didn't know anything about the different cheeses, you know?
Right. No, it makes complete sense. I think of it like, what are your thoughts and beliefs around things, because it matters. If you have a certain beliefs about, oh, I only buy this type of cheese, guess what? Most likely you're not going to do anything else. Same thing with money. If your mindset is, oh, I can only make this amount of money, guess what happens? That's all the money that potentially you can make because that's what you truly believe. Because what is it? Your thoughts become your beliefs become your actions. And so if your beliefs and your mindset around something is a certain way, there are certain actions that you may or may not take because of that.
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I talk to my clients. I talk about it in a lot of my sessions, negative self-talk. If you believe that it's not possible, you'll never be able to do that, it's no way, it's impossible for you, it's not attainable, then you're absolutely right. Because the more you have that mindset to tell yourself that you can't, believe it or not, you're going to have, it might even be subconscious, but you're going to have certain things you do that you might even self-sabotage your own financial future because you don't believe that that wealth or that success or financial stability is possible.
Yeah, and that's the importance of that awareness piece. Because I always tell people, especially when you have mindset blocks or you have certain beliefs, you said they may be subconscious. I think most times they are subconscious, and we don't know it because it is in the subconscious. So we're not even aware of it. So it's almost like an iceberg. And when you hear tip of the iceberg, like the tip of the iceberg is what you see, but it's so small. Underneath that iceberg is miles and miles and miles of ice that you don't see. That's basically your subconscious. It's like, oh, it's there. You may not see it or be readily aware of it, but it's there. And so even just having conversations about, oh my gosh, how do I interact with money? What are my thoughts about it? Really starts getting you to be aware of, okay, something there that can be shifted.
And I think that's totally true because I have brought it up to people a lot of times, like, you haven't said anything good about yourself. And they're like, well, I didn't like, no, like, they're like, no, I don't think that. Or they'll say like they're always saying something negative about themselves. But then if you take that mentality and you not to say that you're calling somebody something bad, but like kind of you're
Right.
repeating back to them, they'll say like, oh no, I do feel like I look good, or I do feel like I look purple. I can't tell.
Right.
I've never heard you say it.
Right. Because they're just doing something
Bad.
on autopilot. You're on freaking
Exactly.
autopilot.
Exactly. So basically, that same principle, it affects your money. It refers to your money. When you're thinking negative about something all the time, or you're thinking, oh, I'll never be able to pay off this debt, or it's no way. Like, it's people who have paid it off. And that means, it's not to say like a comparing you to them, but it's just like an example for you. If they were able to do it, you're able to do it. And that's one of the things why I'm so transparent about my money mistakes, or I made this fumble, I stumbled. And I'll tell people, like, you would think after I filed bankruptcy, like, then, it was wonderful and my finances fixed and I was great. And then I learned my lesson. And no, I did not. I still fumbled again. Like, I was hard headed.
Yeah.
Because that's real. And it also shows people like it can be the exact same way for you. Like, it doesn't mean that it's not possible, and it's not to compare you, and it's not to blame anybody or point any fingers. It's just to say that it's possible. You can do it. Like, it's up completely up to you.
It really, really is. And if you can believe it, I hate this, it's cheesy, right? But if you can believe it, you can achieve it. But having that, instead of looking at what you can't do, you start being solution oriented. You start thinking about, oh, you know what? I have $30,000 of debt to pay off. What are some ways that this can happen? And it actually opens you up to also receive these opportunities as well. But when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to do it. Now I'm a little woo-woo, but you're also putting that energy out into this world of, and then you oftentimes you get back what you're giving off. And if you're closed off to receive, you're not going to get anything.
Exactly. And that's the same mindset about negative people who spend so much of their energy consumed with any type of negativity around them. Like, you're spending so much of your time and energy on all these negative things. You don't have an opening for these positive things to come in. There's no space for them. You didn't leave any space for them. So it's just very important to be mindful about it, because everybody wants a chance at financial stability, and financial stability or wealth is defined by you. You might determine what wealth looks like for you. For me, wealth looks like, if I want to lay in the bed till 10 a.m. today, I can. Because I don't have, I can make adjustments and I'll still be fine. It won't like shatter my world. Wealth to me looks like I have time to go for a walk every day, and I can spend that time and invest in myself. Wealth might look completely different for somebody else. So if that's what your goal is and that's what you're working towards, you're going to have to start making those shifts. You're going to have to start feeling that it's okay to be in the room with wealth. Stop feeling like everybody who's wealthy is evil, or feeling like because you have money, it's evil. You know what I mean? Like, those people who are evil when they have money, I assure you, they did not become evil because they got money. It was already there. That money was just their courage that made them feel like it was okay to do it on the outside. But it was already who they were.
Correct. I like to say it amplifies it. But to your point, that's why it's so important when you're setting these financial goals, you really have to know what it is that you want. Not what your mom wants, not what you think that your friends want you to have, not what you think outside people want you to have. Really get clear on what are your goals and your desires, and why do you want these things. Make sure it's something that you truly desire. Yeah, right.
Because and not what you saw on TikTok or Instagram because you saw somebody on there with it, and because they got it, now you want it. No, what do you want? What would make you happy? What is your desires? That's what you really have to think about. Because going into our next topic, smart money moves for 2024. So we're at August of 2024. We're rounding up the year. It's the third quarter. To be honest, I would say if you are someone who buys holiday gifts, now is the time to start thinking about what gifts you're going to buy, how much it's going to cost, how can you afford it, instead of waiting to the last minute. So what are some smart money moves you would give? And then I'll give my suggestions. But like that you would give, like at this point where August of 2024, the year
Yeah.
is rounding up?
Well, make sure you actually know where your money has gone. So I feel like that's one of the major areas. The smart money move is making sure you understand where your money has gone and where do you want it to go in the future. So making sure that you checked in with, do you have a plan for your money for the rest of the year? So the first money move is make sure you're just aware of your spending, what you have spent, and checking in with your target goals. So if you've set financial goals, which hopefully you have, but if you haven't, start. Actually, it's not too late. Set some of those goals and start and map out a plan to actually do your check-ins. I think that's the first great money move. And when you're looking at that, start also looking at your debt. You know, interest rates are up right now, and so another smart money move is where can you be saving money. And so sometimes, for those of us who are in debt, making sure that you're looking at a plan to pay that debt off, so it's not keeping you in a stronghold. So I would say that's a start of two money moves. In addition to, I love your idea of get started early where you can start saving and planning for some of these gifts. And also check in to see, because sometimes we want to buy these gifts because we think this is what people want to have, and you're spending money. And you can also think everything doesn't have to cost money. Sometimes we want to buy something for someone when maybe they just want our time, or getting creative. I know I would give clients recommendations, and what I would do is I was like, you can create certificates where you give service of something to someone, and that's completely free other than maybe your time, or hey, I'm going to wash dishes for a week. Something that's thoughtful and special that doesn't always cost you money, but really also, again, checking in to see why are you buying some of these gifts, to see if it's even necessary. I'm going to say that.
So to echo on that, on the first one about checking in, seeing where you're at that point in the year, like maybe you made financial goals at the beginning of the year. How did that work out? How was that looking? Were you able to accomplish some of those? Are there some still on your to-do list? And I know a lot of businesses forecast, but once you look at that, if you find out maybe you didn't accomplish everything you were supposed to, maybe things took a turn for worse because life was lifing, you need to be forecasting for 2025. Some of those trips might have to be canceled at that point. Like even for myself, anybody who knows me know I go to Carnival in Trinidad for 5 years in a row. I've gone. I won't be, well, not in a row because pandemic. We had a whole panoramic. But other than that, I've gone to Carnival in Trinidad. I will not be going in 2025 because my adult goals said that 2025, my wallet said no. And you want to do this also because, like she said, looking at if you can afford to do holiday gifts. Because what we don't want to do going into this next year, we just paid off the credit cards that we ran up when we spent for Christmas last year and we spent for the holidays last year. We don't want to run those credit cards right back up after we just got rid of that balance. And that's just a vicious cycle I've seen my clients go through before. Every single year, they work all year, they're working overtime, doing everything to pay these cards down, and then they just run them right back up. So, like she said, look and see at other ways of giving gifts, other more sentimental and meaningful gifts that you can give that might not make your wallet cry. No, I'm just saying, and that's
these are facts.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, I've even done where if I was on a budget, only the children got gifts.
Yeah.
Like I gave the children gifts. I wasn't able to give the adults gift every single year. Or like you said, I'll do something throughout the year where it's not like I'm doing everything for everybody at the same exact time, because I don't need no calendar to tell me when I can buy somebody something. I can buy something when I'm good and ready to. So that's another thing I did too that saved me money during the holidays, because it wasn't this rush to get everybody a gift.
Right, where everybody's getting gifts, and supply and demand, the prices are up. Reality, just because something says it on sale does not mean that's the case.
And one of the most important things that's going to help you through all of this, through all of these tips, is going to be consistency. So when you're figuring out your mindset, you have to be consistent, keeping your mindset open, keeping your eyes and ears open, rather, when you're saying these negative things, when you're, having these mindsets of talking yourself out of rooms you're supposed to be in, talking yourself out of goals that you plan to achieve. Start noticing and paying attention when you are saying these things, and catch yourself and replace it with a positive. And if you start to do that every time, believe it or not, you're going to start to believe it. And that'll be the first start in the transformation. You got to have that consistency.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the biggest thing, is making sure you're staying on top of it and monitoring, checking in with those goals that you set, making sure you have some sort of accountability system in place, and don't feel like you have to do all this by yourself. I think sometimes when we start setting these goals, we want to do it on our own. We can figure it out, but get in community. If you know someone, if you need to hire someone, do that, especially if you know you have these goals and you haven't been consistent, you haven't been sticking to it. Don't keep trying to do things by yourself.
Absolutely. Lastly, I'll say this too. When we say be consistent and keep consistency, it does not mean it has to be every single day, every single hour of the day. Consistency just means more often than not. If it's 7 days a week, that means that more often than not during that week, you did something towards your goals or you work towards that goal. So don't feel like you have to beat yourself up, or, don't take every opportunity to be your own critique and put yourself down during the process. Consistency just means you kept it up. So maybe you fell off one day, you had a little weak moment, you walked past your favorite store. It's okay. It is what it is. It happens. Just make sure that you get right back to it and you continue to do the things you need to invest in yourself. That's all we have. We'll catch you on the next video. Make sure you are out there spending some time every single day investing in you.
Yes.